Back again, huh? You know what? Winter break is kind of an interesting thing. I think that it was on purpose. Schools did it to us, and they did it with the worst intentions possible. Don't get me wrong. I love winter break, but coming back, nothing is worse than coming back to school after winter break or Christmas break. Nothing is worse. Especially, it doesn't even get worse than doing math. But doing math right after Christmas break is awful. That's why I thought we would start with something pretty easy and simple, circles, or math bubbles. Now, for you juniors, since this is now officially your second semester as a junior, a bunch of your teachers are probably mentioning that three-letter awful combination, ACT. And guess what? Circles are going to be on your ACT, which really sucks. Okay, now let's start at the very basic. A circle that's a circle. That that little dot right there, that is the center point. That's very important. Remember that. This little line through half of it, that's called the radius. I'll label that with an R. This little line of mine, I'm gonna let it dry. Okay, this big line that goes through the entire thing is called the diameter. We're gonna label that with the D. That's really confusing stuff, isn't it? Diameter takes up the entire thing, radius takes up half of it. Now, let's figure out how to find the area of a circle. Well, the area of a circle is actually incredibly simple. It's pi r squared. Some people think they're round, but pi are really squared. That was a dumb joke. Anyway, so pi r squared will give you the area of a circle. Now, pi is approximately, if you don't have this on your calculator, it'll look like this funny little letter. If you don't have it on your calculator, you can just punch it in as 3.14 because that's close enough to equaling pi. Okay? Pretty simple. It's not mind-blowing or boggling. This is probably the easiest thing you'll need to know about circles. Now, let's go over the circumference. That's a big word, especially coming right off of Christmas break. Now, the circumference is a lot like the area equation, except now we move this 2 over to the left and call it 2 pi r. Now, you can, if you're really smart and you think I'm dumb, you can just do pi times your diameter. Whatever you want to do. But this is just to keep it simple, 2 pi r. Once again, pi equals about 3.14. Your radius is half the length of across the circle in a straight line. And the circumference, what that's going to tell you is okay, so imagine this is a string, this circle. All we're doing with circumference is unhooking it, stretching it out, and finding the measurement. Except we're doing it mathematically, so it still stays a circle. Simple enough, right? Yeah, yes, it is. Okay. Now, you're probably wanting to know the important stuff. Oops. Like, how do I make this on my calculator? Because it looks so pretty, and I would love to make math bubbles. Okay, how to make a math bubble on your calculator is actually really simple. Okay, first I'm going to put up a couple letters on here, just variables. Just stay with me. Okay, we'll say the circle center equals HK. Now, the center point is incredibly important. That's like literally the middle of your circle. Okay? HK are just variables. They can be any number you want. -50, -5, a positive 3,500,002. Whatever you want. They can be those numbers. Now, let's just put up here R equals radius. the little half line between the center point and the edge of the circle. Still tracking with me? Good, good. Now, your equation is going to be actually incredibly simple. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That's your equation. That is how to make a circle. It's going to give it to you every time. Now, you're going to have to do a little, to punch this into your calculator, you're going to have to do some serious algebra to get y by itself. And you know what? If you can't do that on your own right now, go back to the other videos. You're in under your head. And you shouldn't be. So, this is your basic equation. If you want to be able to put this into your calculator, do some serious algebra, get y by itself, or just, and then you'll have to know what r is to figure out what r squared is, and la-di-da. Okay, to carry on, when you graph a circle, like on a graph, okay, let's make a little graph right here. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's say our circle center point is at, 4, 5. Let's say that's our center point. You always have to label the center point of your circle whenever you're graphing one. This is what's extremely important, because otherwise your circle could be an oval, your circle could be not a circle, it could be like one of those thingies you see in microscopes, that are all moving around. Amoeba, that's it. It could be an amoeba, we don't know. Okay, so you always have to graph and label the center point, and then you draw your funny little circle. My circles always suck. I mean, no matter what, even when I seriously try to do a good circle, it always ends up awful. I don't know why. But that's okay, because then we can just do this, and you always have to label your radius. And let's say for giggles that our radius is 3. That way we have 3, 4, 5, and it's cute. Okay, so whenever you graph a circle on paper, you have to label the center point and the radius. That's it. And after that, you're done. We have the equation of how to put it in a calculator or how to make a circle. And then up here we have our really difficult stuff. Just remember, the most important thing to remember is that radius is half of the length. Radius is half the length. Diameter is twice the radius, but it's not extremely important. The radius is always important. And if I were you, definitely go back and rewatch this video and write down my equations and stuff. They're pretty gosh darn important because, well, I wrote them down and I'm kind of important-ish, almost. Okay, so until next time.